Is it working? Is it working? Looks like we're on. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. Okay. Now, if you hear some background noise, well, it's because it's too darn hot in this room and I don't have the AC or I don't have an air condition. But I needed to open the window because it's just too hot here with all the lights and camera equipment. But good evening, everyone. How is everybody? Hope you guys are doing okay. Someone catch me. Okay. If someone can kind of give me a thumbs up if that this okay. Thank you, Barb. You answered my question. All right. So let's get some shout outs going. Hello, Miss Kim Burris. She said she'll be back. Okay. Well, looks like you're back because I see your name scrolling up and down. Claudia Lautenslager. Hello. How are you? Barb McKinley. Thank you, Barb. It hit 95 here today. Most of us in Western Washington don't have AC. My bedroom is 88 right now. Ooh, that's, yeah. 88 and humidity, I would imagine, being up in the Pacific Northwest. Oh. I stayed fairly cool here in KC, around 77. Tomorrow to be in the mid 80s. Then by Saturday back into the high 90s with dangerous heat indexes. Ooh, please stay safe, Kim. Yeah, it's crazy times that we're living in. Crazy times. Hello, Miss Sandy. You made it here tonight. Thanks for joining. Mary Jane Ellinger is here. She's saying hello to everyone. Malzilla, Deb here. She's saying it's 90 and still at 7:30 smoky BCCA. Oh, British Columbia, Canada. Okay. Wow. If BC, I mean, they're north of everybody. So if they're at the 90 degrees, oh boy, we're in trouble. Barbara Cade. Hello, Miss Barbara. Thank you for joining here tonight. Judy Hebert is here from Georgia. Hello, Judy. Linda Faust is here. Hello, Linda. Okay. I know this person was here last time. I'm going to try and say it again. Is it Eric Tribjorn from Renton, Washington? If I said it wrong, I'm terribly sorry. Marie Mitchell is here. Okay. Hello, Miss Pearl Medina from Moreno Valley, California. Hello, hello. Hey, neighbor. Terry Cooper's here. Hello, Terry. Okay. And let's see. Charlotte De Roches. Hello, Charlotte. Glad you made it here. Well, well, well. It's Miss Debbie Huey. Hello, Miss Debbie. How are you? I haven't seen you or haven't heard from you in a long time. Hope everything is okay. And as we always say on Zoom, here comes trouble. It's Mr. Kevin the Quilter. But we still love him. Hello, Miss Kathleen Champ. It's 93 up here in Modesto. It hit 104. Whoa. You know, Kathleen, down in Los Angeles, it was kind of an overcast day. It was still kind of, it felt really muggy, which was odd for Southern California, but it wasn't all that bad. It was, I could tolerate it, but there's been days, well, there's coming days where it's going to reach the triple digits for us here too. We have an empire here in Northern Cali as well. Okay. Kim says she got a great report from her cardiologist today. Don't have to go back till next May. Yay! That's good news, Kim. That's really great news. Pronounce Eric Tribjorn. Okay. Got it. I'll get it right one of these days. Eric Tribjorn. Okay, everybody help me out and remember it. Marie Mitchell says it's 92 here in Is that San Antonio, Texas? Almost 10 p.m. Wow. Wow. Hello, Miss Quilts by Carmel. If you guys haven't checked her out, this is Joe Carmel. She does run her own YouTube channel. She is a fairly new quilter, and she usually gives us videos and updates about all the projects that she's working on. So, hello, Miss Joe. Glad you made it here tonight. Hope you're doing okay, or hope the heat's not getting to you. Not trouble. Sure, Kevin, sure. Hello, Miss Shirley. That's Miss Around to It. Okay, and if I missed anyone, I am terribly, terribly sorry. I was kind of scrolling through pretty quickly because I know there's a lot of people talking to each other with that. So, what am I working on tonight? I need to actually do a whole string quilt for someone. And so they saw me do this block. And so they want a whole quilt out of it. So I got to make some more strings. So, okay. So I got to do a lot more. Okay. Wait, Joe Carmel, you're in Florida too? No, she's not. Hi, Cora Kaminsky from Northwest Indiana. Glad you made it here tonight. Thanks for joining us. Hi, Jim. And he says he's watching on TV. So, but before we get into making these string blocks, I do want to say thank you to all of you who have been sending emails, sending prayers, because as most of you or some of you already know, there was a serious wildfire in my home state back in Hawaii, and everybody was concerned about my family, making sure that they are okay. So, yes, they are okay. We don't have, well, at least to our knowledge, we don't have any family in Maui where the fires were. I do have a lot of friends from high school, though, that moved to the island of Maui. For the most part, they are okay. One of my friends is actually a Maui police officer, in which, as soon as the fires came on, he went into action. And I didn't call him for quite a while because I figured he would be drop dead busy. And it was a good thing that I didn't call him because he was totally exhausted and just wasn't talking to anybody because he was concentrating on the job that he needed to get done. This is another friend of mine. And this is kind of a funny story, but kind of a not funny story, but you just got to think that it's so silly. Okay. So this other friend, he is a firefighter. And so when all of this started happening, of course, his unit went to assist with the fire. And he is the type of person where he will react first and then think about what he did later. So the stupid thing, so what he did was when he got there, he saw that there was a house, his unit was working on this, trying to put out the fire on a particular, I think it was a house. But anyway, they got there and he had all of his gear. He had all of the protective coating and whatnot, but his oxygen mask, he put it, how like you put your glasses up like that sometimes? Well, that's how he had his oxygen mask because he was outside and he didn't need it at the moment. But as he saw someone inside of a house that needed help, and the house, of course, was on fire, so he ran into the house immediately. And he got the person, he got them out, he carried them out, they were in safe. But the silly part of all of this, and again, he's the type of person that will react first and then think about it later. He ran into the house, house is on fire. He's breathing in all of that smoke. And when we found out that he was hospitalized a couple days later, we asked him, "What the heck did you do? You're a firefighter and you got smoke inhalation?" And funny, but not funny, he had his oxygen mask, like that. He forgot to put it on. And so all the smoke, he breathed in all of that smoke and nastiness. So all of myself and my high school friends, we were not surprised because he's always done silly things like that. I don't want to say stupid, but careless and silly things like that. But we're glad that he's okay. He got out of the hospital yesterday and he's back working. But we kind of, among myself and all of my high school friends, we were kind of teasing him about it and kind of called him stupid. He would be the only person to run into a burning house. Well, of course, trying to save a person. That's a noble thing. But he would be the one person to forget to put his oxygen mask on. So, yeah. We all, myself and all of my high school friends we are totally on his case for that. And we're not letting him forget about this one. So, but he is safe. He's doing okay. He's out of the hospital. He just had to get treated for smoke inhalation, but fortunately, it wasn't too serious. And he was pretty quick in and out of there. So he didn't have too much damage done to his lungs. So, it was 77 here today. Supposed to be mid-80s tomorrow. Ooh, okay. That's not too bad, Kim. But then I do understand that the Midwest has a lot of humidity, so sometimes it feels, even though it's only 80, it feels like 120. Kathleen Champ says, yes, sadly been waiting on an update from you. Thank you, Lord, for all. Well, thank you, Kathleen, for keeping me in your prayer, for keeping everyone in your prayers. But again, my family is on Oahu, and I do have some family on the Big Island where the volcano is. But other than that, I don't have any, well, at least to our knowledge, we don't have any family in Maui. So they're all okay. Just a bunch of high school friends that, for the most part, they're all right. Okay. Hello, Miss Remo J. Okay, so there's also one thing I think a lot of people don't realize, though. We don't know what the cause of. I did see someone ask what was the cause of it. We don't know, or at least right now, no one's saying what the cause of it is. But one thing I do know about Hawaii is that, when when there's disasters like this, I mean, if you think about it, Hawaii is very prone to a whole ton of disasters. We got threats of hurricanes. We got threats of tidal waves or tsunamis. We have threats of volcanoes, wildfires being another one, flooding, and with all these natural disasters that happen every single year, there's always a threat of something happening. I think more than any other state, all the city and county and state government offices with like the fire department, the police department, emergency crews, ambulance, hospitals, they coordinate an effort to activate really fast. And so when things like a hurricane, earthquake, some kind of natural disaster occurs, the city actually recovers, or they spring into action really quickly. And they also recover very quickly. Now, there's a lot of damage done from these wildfires, no doubt about that. And it's going to take time to rebuild a lot of the businesses, but if there's one thing I do know about the state of Hawaii, they will rebound really fast. So, I don't know. This could be a blessing in disguise. Who knows? Because although we lost a lot of historical buildings, it's time for that town in Maui to rebuild itself, and I'll bet you that they'll build it stronger. They'll build it, well, stronger in terms of just people coming together. They'll build it better, and it's like upward and onward. So although I think people are really sad to have lost a lot, but in the coming years, I wouldn't be surprised if Lahaina, that little town, makes a very strong comeback. And Lahaina is actually a resort town, so they're probably going to be building it back really quickly. So, but anyway, thank you guys all for your prayers and your concerns, but just know that everybody's okay. And a few exceptions with my friends there. Alrighty then. You're always prayers, friends. That's the best I got to give anyone, and happy to. Oh, thank you, Kathleen. Okay, so let's get sewing, because that's what you guys are here to do. So is anybody else working on any projects tonight? Or are we all just kind of chilling out and hanging out? Again, I got bombarded with more requests for quill. And honestly, I didn't know this person actually watches the YouTube or Treasure Art Creations. They follow the channel. And I'm like, how did you even find out about this? Well, she's kind of an avid YouTuber for other reasons, but somehow one of the Treasure Art Creations videos popped up on her radar. I don't have... That one fell down. Okay. And by the way, if you didn't catch it, there has been a video that was uploaded. It's the last applique block that we will do, or that I'm doing in the scraps, strips, strings, and crumbs series. So if you haven't checked that out, you can do so. And also, if you are a member of the Treasure Heart Creations Facebook group, there was a special notice that I posted exclusively for Treasure Heart Creation members or Facebook members. So you can check that out. And not 5 minutes. 5 minutes didn't even pass when I put that notice up, and I already got people kind of entering. I'll just say that. Okay, so Sandy's working on a string quilt in yellows and blacks for a grandson. Ooh, yellow and black. Is that a bumblebee quilt or honeybee quilt? So Tony is saying, hand sewing binding on a quilt for a customer, and I am almost done. Wow. I give you credit for that, because that, yeah. Well, if you saw the video, you kind of heard the question, but there's certain things that I don't, or certain things within the quilting process that I just hate doing. Binding is one of them, and there's a ton of people that kind of mention different things, so you can read the comments to that. No, that's a little too wide. Oh, I can use this. No, I got that already. One thing I like about string quilts is sometimes, or even scrap quilts, crumb quilts, whatever, when you go through the fabrics, sometimes you remember what fabric or what quilt this particular fabric was used on. Brings back memories. Found the thread. Need to start tying one quilt. Okay. That was Kim. I posted my block, Eric. Okay, Remo. I'll have a look. Hello, Miss Marie Johns. I be hot tonight. Let's just say that. Yeah, I'm doing good. Just glad that people. Well, just glad that most of my friends back home are okay. Whoops. Okay, I haven't figured out how to turn off that timer on the camera. So from time to time, you'll see it go into that rainbow color mode thing. Okay, so I know what we can talk about. Okay, so a lot of my coworkers in the office or at work, they got kids that are still in school, grade school, middle school, and they were all saying that the kids are now going back to school in the middle of August. Now, it seems like these days we all were kind of getting into this discussion about whatever happened to summer. I mean, it seems like it's getting shorter and shorter and shorter every year. Cause like I remember we were on summer break when I was in grade school way back when. We were on summer break from June, like that first week of June, all the way to the day after Labor Day. But now it's like we're here in the middle of August and they're starting the next school year already. I don't know. Are other states like that as well? I don't know if it's just California or if other states are like that as well. But we were like, how sad. I mean, you don't get to have much of a summer. Yeah, and they also start their summer break at the end or toward the middle of June. Which is sad. Okay, so Marie John says, yep, Labor Day here too when we were kids. Okay. School started August 3rd in Georgia this year. Wow. Missouri has a lot of schools already started. Tomorrow is the first day of school for many places in the Denver area. Ooh. Yeah, see, we're all over the place. Washington is mostly mid-June to after Labor Day. Okay. Praise Washington, because the kids need a break too. Then again, parents don't want to watch them for that long too, I would imagine. Tennessee is like that. Okay. Oh, hey, Sheila. They get out at the end of May. Ooh. Okay. When did they go back, Judy? Or wait. Oh, okay. So Judy said, oh, okay. So in Georgia, they get out at the end of May, but then they go back August 3rd. North Texas went back, but we started break at the end of May. Okay. That's got to be tough because August is usually one of the warmest or hottest months. And especially if they don't have any air conditioning. And I trust me, there are some schools in Hawaii. Actually, most of the schools in Hawaii don't have air conditioning. But that's got to be tough if the school doesn't have like a working air conditioner to sit in that hot classroom. Yeah, I don't know how the kids could even concentrate. Okay, I need a small but thick piece. I just need a piece for right there. Right there. I'll just use this one. Yeah, times they are definitely a changing. Kids in British Columbia are finished mid to late June and go back after Labor Day. Okay. Granddaughters start Thursday. Ooh. Schools around here usually start third week in August. That's Jim. Since they did homeschool through COVID. Okay, so since they did homeschool through COVID, they do that now on snow days. Okay. They get a week of every month and half off. You have fall break, then winter break, then Christmas break. Each one is a week long except Christmas break. Ah, okay. So they actually spread out the vacation time, which is what I think most states have done in recent years. I like to clean the fridge on these hot days. Ooh, I'm with you there, Barb. Of course, I like to go to Costco and sit in the fridge too. What am I doing? Oh, iron. Well, I can start my next one. I'll start this. Ooh, my favorite blue fabric. I love this color. Love, love, love this fabric. Okay, and we will cut this one off slightly there. Okay, and I just want to get this block started so I can cut the other one off. Cut-off triangles are perfect for those corners. They are, Diane. It's just I usually use them up for other things, so I don't have any right now. When my girls were in school, it was done the last week of May and started again after Labor Day. Wow, that's quite some time. Okay, so let me press these for a second and I will be right back. Actually, I got my ironing board right here, so I don't have to move. Got one done. And, oh, what happened to the paper there? Oh well. And one more. So let's square up the blocks. Is this 6.5? Yep. That should be 6.5. And I will trim that down, trim this down. Turn it around and trim that. And trim all, oh, you know what, I need to shift this down because I'm not on the cutting mat. So we reline it up and cut across. There we go. Yeah, didn't get that. So handy scissors coming out. And what do I do with all of these pieces? Well, if it's big enough, like this white piece here, I'll try to rip it off. There, I'll save that. Rest of these can, oh, I can save this for a corner. Rest of these are too small for me to do anything with, so rest in peace, dear fabric. Okay, got one block done. And we'll get this one squared up. Yeah. So, if you don't know anything about me, I do like to make these string blocks to 6.5 inches. I know there's people that make them like 12.5, 14. One quilter I know, she makes them into 15-inch blocks. Don't ask me how in the world she gets that long of a string piece, but I usually will make string blocks to 6.5. For me, 6.5 is a usable size, and it's manageable that I'm not sewing strings for days, so I can get through it fairly quickly. Problem is though, because it's only 6.5, my string being, well, my strings don't seem to grow. Only, well, I do go through it quickly, so, but sometimes it just feels like my strings don't seem to go down. And most of the time when I'm not, or when I'm just sewing and not trying to film a video, I do use a string block or a crumb block as like a leader and ender project. So as soon as I'm done sewing my actual block, I'll grab a piece of crumbs or some string, or I got some string getting worked on. So, you know, it's not, I'm not just sewing off or cutting the thread, and I did not cut that good. So let's trim this one down. Oh, okay. That'll do. It's still 6.5. Okay. Let's see. Let me scroll back up. Okay, Miss Joe Carmel, how do I store my scraps? Here's a good indication of how. So I just make a collection. Well, this is just my string bin, and I try to maintain or keep my strings in control just by limiting it to just this bin and so I got this bin. This is the one that has all the multicolored fabrics, but there is a separate bin for all my white or light colored, kind of off-white neutral colored strings. So normally if I'm cutting fabric or if I'm cutting up yardage, that's where all these that's how I collect all of these strings. And I just usually have this bin sitting on the cutting board, and as I'm cutting fabric or yardage up, I'll throw all the offshoots into this bin and save it for a rainy day. So this is one way I do it. Then if it's a larger scrap, like a smaller than a fat quarter but larger than a 2.5 inch piece of fabric, sorry, I know the camera's moving. Let me. Oh. So camera's moving. Sorry, it's gonna shake. But there's my cutting table. And don't mind the big white thing, but you see all of those plastic containers? That has all the scrap fabrics under there. So whenever I do have like piles of fabric scraps, I sort it by color. And again, if it's smaller, sorry, the camera's moving again. So if it's smaller than a fat quarter but larger than a 2.5 inch square, that's where it's going. And I keep those in containment usually because if I'm looking for a certain color or a certain type of fabric, those are the bins I usually head for first before I head or try and cut up more yards of fabric. So there is a video that I am trying to plan. Of course, it's not, there's other things that are kind of taking priority with that, but there is a video in which I'm trying to produce and get it together and get it done. So that is coming out. I try to take a more no-nonsense type of approach into organizing all of the scraps because I don't want to spend time sorting scraps and cutting up different size fabrics and whatnot. I rather just spend my time sewing. So I just keep it simple for me. I know there's a lot of people that do these very elaborate systems in which, you know, they have the time to do it because they're retired. So, but, you know, I just don't want to waste my energy trying to keep, or trying to do all of that. So this is a system that just works for me. It's not going to work for everybody. It just really depends on the type of quilts that you do, the type of quilter you are, and the type of personality in terms of, are you someone that's really organized or are you someone that works in or does better in chaos? I'm a person that operates in chaos a lot better. If it's too organized, then I can't find anything, ironically. Okay. Marie John says, oh man, Diane, okay. She's talking to Diane there. Hey, S. Taylor. She says she's been lurking while hand quilting. Okay. Okay, Kimber says, for a while, schools here started before mid-August, but so many rural kids were in 4-H and involved in state fair. Most rural schools now start after the fair is over. Yeah. You know, 4-H is not a big thing. Surprisingly, 4-H is not a big thing when I was growing up in Hawaii. I don't know if it picked up or it's interesting because there are a lot of farmlands in Hawaii, though. I'm just cutting the excess bulk off. So like this. Okay, so this is actually big enough to go in my crumb bin, so I will toss that in there. But now, when I was in high school, we did have a 4-H club, Don't ask me who was part of that club, but I do know we had a 4-H club. Let's see. Hey, Debbie. Thanks for joining us tonight. Susan Pinnell says 59 here and only 27 thumbs up. Oh, thank you guys. Let's... Hey, Miss Mona. Thanks for joining tonight. Jim says, I mix strings and crumbs in same blocks most of the time. I am up to 175-inch blocks. Wow. Hey, Sin Forest. I tried to make some crumb blocks. It's just not my thing. You know, Marie, it's not everyone's thing. Don't worry about that. So don't feel obligated or pressured to do a crumb block. Try a string block though. You know, when I first started quilting, string blocks were kind of not my thing. But then I realized, again, this is when I was a beginning quilter, that sewing strings was a very good way for me to practice my 1/4 inch. And it was more relaxing than trying to practice my 1/4 inch, say on like using a pattern, a quilt pattern or a kit, because, you know, there's no pressure. I mean, if your 1/4 inch goes off on a string block, who cares? Because it's just scraps being sewn together. So I spent a lot of time, well, that's how I started my love for string blocks. I didn't have a taste for crumb blocks until much later, when I started seeing what other quilters or what the possibilities were. Just looking at what other quilters have done, with crumb blocks, and then that's when my interest peaked with it. But I'm just a person that doesn't like to waste stuff. So if I can use even the smallest 1-inch square, I will more than likely use it, especially with the price of fabrics these days. Oh my gosh. You know, I used to go to this one store in which they would sell a yard of like a K facet for $11.99. Now they're up to $21.99. Okay, so Sin Forest says she's having dinner and listening. Oh, okay, Sin, please remember to chew before you swallow. I like the block with the circles. I assume you're talking about this block. This block is actually on the latest video that I uploaded this past Sunday night. So you can check that out and you can have a very up close and personal look at this block. Yeah, I'm still not 100% happy with it, because I do see that I didn't do a very good job with turning the applique seam allowance, but you know what? I'm not going to redo it. It is what it is. So. Okay. Thanks. I'm still trying to develop a system, but I get overwhelmed and just start another project. Okay. Well, no worries, Joe. We've all been there. Yeah, as soon as that's on the list of to-dos, is to actually get that video of how I organize these scraps, because there's been a lot of people that have been asking me, and more so they've been asking, what do I do to keep them contained? Well, one thing I do know, or one thing that I really do, is I use them up. Okay, 4-H has also a home ec division. Oh, I didn't know that, Barbara. Yeah, I did not know that. But then again, I guess 4-H, or home ec was actually a requirement, and I think it still is a requirement in middle school in Hawaii. So, But I always associated 4-H with farming for whatever reason. Well, actually, there is a reason why. Because the 4-H club, although they weren't the largest club at our high school, they were the most popular. Because, let's just say they were growing some very interesting plants that every high school kid wanted. I'll let you guys have a guess as to what I'm talking about. Did I even catch this? Oh, yeah, looks like I caught it. Okay. Hello, Miss Tiffany. I'm way late. I'm embroidering and making binding. What are we embroidering tonight? A dragon? Okay, any good news in that newspaper? Not really. And gosh, I don't even know where these newspapers came from. I think this is just a circular that just comes in the mail. Let's see, what can I use? Okay. Do I want to use this? It's a little thick. Oh, yep. See? This fabric here was one of those fabrics where, you go to the quilt shop and you're like, oh, this is so awesome. I'm going to use it for this quilt. And then you take the fabric home and it's like, what the heck was I even thinking? Yep. I think I was going to make an apron with this because there's a lot of food. Like there's a cherry pie there. There's it looks like a pizza. Yeah. Took it home and said, what was I thinking with this one? So I ended up cutting it up into strips and crumbs and saying, okay, we'll just put it in some crumb quilt or some string blocks. What you making? We're just doing some string blocks because I have to do a string quilt for someone who I didn't even know followed the channel. And they said, oh, I saw you do that block. Can you make me a whole quilt? And I'm like, yeah, I no. But then she reminded me, yeah, you owe me one, sir. I was like, oh, darn. I guess I can't say no now. Barb McKinley says, I just finished a fingerless mitt. Now onto the other one. Oh my gosh, it is so warm in here tonight that my glasses are fogging up. Wow. I'm pressing binding so hard to type. I'm pressing binding so hard to type cause it's hot and don't want to burn my fingers. Okay. Hey, how hot is it in Arizona, Tiff? I bet it's what, 110, 120, 140? Do I hear 150? Well, most schools here don't even teach home ec anymore. Yeah. You know, whoops. Yeah. You know, us Hawaiians are kind of weird in that respect because we do things that other schools don't do. Embroidering a tag for a quilt. Ah, okay. Well, that's a good use of an embroidery machine. Maybe I should do that on mine. Oh, okay. See, this is the joy of making string blocks. You just sew, and if you're with your friends, you can just chat and gossip. Well, did I say gossip? Oops. No, I mean, talk very politely about your friends. It's 101. Wow. What happened to that other piece that I just hacked off? Is that going to be big enough? That might just fit. Oh man, I hate when it does that. Got a thread wrapped around. Tucson hit 99 today. Wow. It's mainly what I use for shirts and family. Ah. We hit 104 in Texas today. Wow. Hey, Sheila D. Drinking a cup of Cuban coffee, getting fabric together for another quilt along. Okay. It's a cold 61 electric blanket time. Well, Diane, make some room because I'm coming over. It's just unbearably warm here. Speaking of weather, does anybody follow, I think his name is Ryan Hall. He has a YouTube channel and he's I don't know if he's a meteorologist or an astronaut, but he does, his whole channel is just dedicated to reporting about the weather and making weather predictions. And thus far, since I've been following him, he's been pretty spot on. And he's got some very wild predictions for this coming winter season. And yes, I did say this coming winter season. So he's already got predictions of what's going to happen in December, just based upon his own calculations. Ryan Hall, y'all. Yeah, Kim he's been pretty spot on, wouldn't you agree, Kim? I mean, of course, weather is always unpredictable, but for thus far, from what I've seen from him, all his predictions are pretty close. And what really what I really like about his channel, or what he does, is that he doesn't use he does use the technical jargon, but then he kind of explains it so that you can kind of understand what his logic is. Sometimes when I watch the news, especially the weather reports, they're always saying like, oh, we have this high pressure system and we're going to then low pressure system over here. And I'm like, so what? And what exactly is that? I mean, does that mean we're gonna lose 2 pounds in a high pressure system because we're all being compressed? Or are we gonna gain 5 pounds on a low pressure system because we're all expanding? I mean, I never understood any of that. And I don't know, sometimes I would email into the news stations and surprise, surprise, their meteorologist or their weather person could never explain it because they don't even know what it is sometimes. But Ryan Hall, he'll say something like, yeah, we got this vortex moving around, and then he explains what all of that is. Good night, Marie. We need a cold winter so bugs can die. Nah, Remo, what you need is just a lot of birds that eat the bugs. Or a lot of geckos and lizards. Indeed, he's a better forecaster than mountain local guys. See? Yep, I mean, he although he's looking at the weather on a national scale, I just find that his predictions are a lot more spot on than local news stations. Okay, one last piece, and ooh, is that gonna work? A little too close for my taste. Oh, I got that one. I'll do the black. Do I have a black? No. I'll do it. Let's see. No. Let's see if this works. I didn't check for that. See that one little teeny tiny spot right there? Yeah. Okay, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I'm just going to trim this one down to something smaller. And I totally did not cut that straight, but oh well. Never said that I really was. And now I can use that piece to cover that. Okay, yep, it made it. So this one can get pressed. And we can square this one down later, but I need to work on the other one. Well, I can get this one started. I have no idea where. Oh, this was given to me. That in there. Okay. covers that. And then is this going to be... No, I already got this fabric in there. Put those back. Nope, that's too small. Oh, wait, I could do this. Is that going to reach? Nope. Yeah, that'll do. Then I'm finally rid of this. Okay. Hello, Miss Irish Sail Lady. Glad you made it here tonight. Good night, Miss Joe Carmel. The mating of foxes, deer, bears, and wolves too much. Between the deer and foxes and their kittens, it is crazy. They will walk up to you. Husband's family is having problems with bears. Good night, Patty. Even the local forecaster saying we could see a lot of snow here this year and some pretty extreme cold. Yeah, that's what everybody's predicting. Ooh, how's this hot pink? And I just totally sewed those two blocks together. I'll just trim it right there. And we got the last one. Let's hit this one with the iron. And let's trim. Center it up. And let's get this a little better there. I can use this blue. And I am done with this particular fabric, so everything else can go. You know, I could use this piece somewhere. I'll throw that in the crumb bin. There's one. Then final one, and then we will call this a live. So it's 8:42. I try to do an hour on these lives at least. Sometimes we'll go over, but depending on what project we're working on. But tonight is just about strings. And I cut the paper. Oh well, that's okay. It's still big enough to make a 6.5 inch block, which is what I want. I do not want to save any of these scraps there. So, okay. So I got 4 of them, and then starting on the 5th one there. I have enough to actually make a block. Okay, but I'm not making this block, I'm making the churn dash. So anyway. Okay, so good night, Terry. Thanks for joining tonight. Step out, then back in. Show your love, support. It's not nice to be lurking. Yes, Mama Remo. Oh, but thank you. We appreciate that, Remo J. She's reminding everybody to give a thumbs up. Okay. Hey, Crystal. Thanks for joining, but we're about to kind of wrap up here. How many blocks will your quilt have? They wanted a throw size, so I think I'm just going to do 12 and a half inch blocks. Oh, thank you, Barb. She's saying we appreciate you, Eric. Your time is special, and so are all of you. All right, good night, S. Taylor. Thank you, Lori. So she says she thumbs up. Well, that's what I have for you tonight. Thank you guys for joining me and just keeping me company while I sew these blocks. I do have the butterfly quilt that is ready. The quilt top is done. Just gotta get that quilted when I can, because suddenly I got real busy this week. A lot of deadlines to meet, so we'll see. Well, I'll definitely show you guys the final quilt when it's all done before I send it off. Then let's see, there's a few videos in the works. I don't think I'll get it done this weekend, but hopefully before the end of the month. It's supposed to rain all weekend here. You should come visit. Oh, okay. I'll bring my bathing suit then and a bar of soap. Have a blessed night. Thank you. Thank you, Kathleen. Oh, I forgot to talk about something. I hope people are still here, but there is a special event that's going to happen in August. It's a very special event that comes around once a year for me. Yep, it's happening on the 23rd, but, well, if you want to find out what it really is, maybe I'll talk about it next live. All right, guys, thanks for joining here tonight. I wish you guys the best of weeks. Please stay safe, stay cool, because I know a lot of you are going to head into the triple digits. So keep cool. And yep, you guys know what I always say when we end the lives or end any videos. So let's all get out there and let's create something. Bye for now. Thanks for joining.